Good morning, sweet world. Okay, I'm not doing that.
That was weird.
Yeah, listen, that's the basketball jokes. They're my guys. I'm not gonna allow this.
Oh my God, what a pod!
Yeah,
what a pod.
Back in the day, they were great. Now they're the starters on TNT, I think.
Yeah, but they were doing the drop and what's it called? And the starters at the same time.
Yeah.
Do they still do the starters? I haven't seen that on YouTube.
You know, I have no clue because I remember.
I used to watch like religiously.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
All right, are we doing this podcast now?
Yeah.
All right.
We can talk some stuff on here. We can do what we want. In fact, you want to just do 30 minutes of basketball? Fuck yeah.
Summer League news.
Playoffs ever.
Yo, you see who the Raps drafted?
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry, bro.
Yeah. So in Summer League news, did you see the draft pick? No.
Hilarious.
All right.
Too bad Stefano wasn't here. Then he could be trapped.
Yeah.
Like he can't get up and walk away.
Like look on his face.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wait, hold on. Am I keeping that intro though?
Yeah. Right,
oh man, that means we've done like 2 minutes of just nonsense.
Good.
Anyway, this is the Light Kick. My name's Michael Asiffo, and we're doing an in-person one in the home, in my beautiful home.
Shouting, screaming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. While my parents are asleep, because
Yes.
I live with my parents still.
And it's totally like 10 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
Because I live with my parents still. Thank you.
Hey man, I'm a bum. I have no.
By choice though, like you're like a fancy hobo, right? Like you choose to be a bum.
Yeah.
The first thing I did when I came
that subsequently makes me a bum too, because I also
hilarious.
live with.
The first thing I did when I came into your guys' room, just for full disclosure, was roast Michael and Jeremy's furniture.
Yes, you did.
I really need people to understand the juxtaposition of the outside of this home and the inside of this room. There's something to behold.
The outside does look nice. I have to say. The outside looks proper.
Looks like
the outside does.
you know those
Guys, we can't do a podcast. Like,
Okay, all right.
Start this podcast.
HGTV podcast. Welcome to the HGTV.
It literally looks like one of those homes in Love and Enlisted or something like that. Crazy. All right, let's go.
We could literally turn this into a different podcast.
For real.
Low key. But yeah, all right. Let me introduce the folks. You know what? I'm gonna just restart this podcast. I'm gonna be honest.
For what?
Nah, we're not. I'm kidding. All right, Light Kick podcast. I'm Michael. David and Jeremy are over there. I'm doing the whole Googles and the stuff because I can. And so yeah, Jeremy, what do you have to say for yourself?
Welcome to me.
You said that so low under your breath, like project.
No, I'm happy they didn't hear that. So, what's up?
David, say hi to the people.
What up? What's up?
All right, boys. What? We'll talk about the night of fights that was. But you know, how's everybody doing today? I just want to make sure everyone's okay, happy and healthy. You know, COVID cases are rising.
Oh my God, Michael. I'm good. I'm good. I just want to let the people know. First listen, Nas album, no good. How about you, Jeremy?
Honestly, I've been in kind of like a nostalgic phase right now. So, like, I just listen to like heavy 2000s, and I listen to a lot of. Boop 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 boop. I tried to tell you guys like last year.
I was a Griselda guy.
We were here. You were trying to put.
Bro, I was screaming Griselda. Like I'm so.
Dude, I was listening to the Fire in the Booth thing for like at least a year.
You don't have to scream.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't heed your advice earlier.
No, it's all good.
But Griselda is my shit.
It's the future, man.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch and I know we can definitely talk about MMA. Sorry, Stefano. But did you guys watch the Versus with
where Jadakiss basically bitch slapped Dipset by himself single-handedly? Yeah.
You would think that like Dipset would have more to give.
Here's the thing. I didn't think Dipset was that bad. I just think in comparison to... Also, first of all, they were drunk and high the entire time. But I think the whole thing with Dipset is there's a couple caveats. Dipset is a cultural icon, but if you listen to some of their songs, you're like...
It's bad.
If you actually listen to their songs, you're like, they could have been better. Even
the group?
Yeah, no.
Jeremy, you're black. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Cameron.
No, I'm okay with getting my
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, Cameron, Joel Santana, V-Fly.
Yeah. Those guys formed a group.
Well, they were a record label, technically.
They were one of the most defining groups of the 2000s.
Are you kidding? Jeremy, are you
Jeremy's showing his age right now.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yo, are you... But, okay, but I think the thing with... I will say, though, the thing with LOX... I worked in music radio for a while, for people who don't know. And I think the thing with Dipset is, like, if you look at... Even some of the guys like the Diplomats. Remember the Diplomats back in the day? Right? They had one of the best beats in their song. In what song was it? You know the one, new, yeah. That song?
No.
Okay, but they had one of the best beats, and they completely ruined the song.
Yeah, man.
So, they got by on being the innovators of kind of the bling era of hip hop and being cultural icons, but not necessarily the music guys. Whereas Jadakiss and LOX were kind of the exact opposite.
I said it. Jadakiss is top 10 MCs of all time.
That
guy came out spitting. Like, it was crazy, man. He murdered.
But you know what the problem is? Whenever
Styles P, too. Like, Styles P is underrated, man.
Yes, man. And they used to have Sheik Luke on there.
No, Sheik was there, too.
Yeah.
He was dope, too.
Yeah, so Sheik is there, too. It's just, they're the opposite. They're almost guys who were all bars, but not... But not
their songs
exactly.
were going up. Like, what's that called? Everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Dipset. This is Dipset.
No, LOX. I thought that was a Dipset song. My.
Well, the problem with that is LOX and Dipset never really had beef like that. So like everybody, and they used to like collaborate a lot because LOX couldn't make a hook to save their life, and Dipset couldn't do a verse to save their life. So all of a sudden, they kind of needed each other. And so they never really had beef like that. So what ended up happening was a lot of LOX songs you thought were Dipset and vice versa.
That's true. Right? And all I know is Jadakiss is up there as top 10 rappers to my estimation.
It's kind of like a mismatch, to be real.
He murked them. And Cameron, like I used to think Cameron was a lyricist. No.
It would have been a better competition for Jada.
They put Jada against Fabulous earlier. Was not a match. It was like it was not a fair match.
Which is weird because you thought Fabulous would be the guy.
I thought Fabulous was a lyricist, not against Jadakiss. Man.
Well, see, you remember? Okay, do you remember when 50 Cent had beef with Fat Joe and Jadakiss was involved? And Jadakiss said, "Don't speak my name."
Hilarious.
And 50 Cent was take a lock for Jadakiss. That's when I realized I'm like, oh, if 50's not going after him.
Fat Joe's, lyrically, 50 does not want any of the problems.
All right, guys, we ready? You know what? I forgot. We have to do the transition for the MMA news. Okay. So let's transition.
Let's get into the news and views of the week.
So boys, one of the things that we didn't get to because I was solo. Thanks for the help, guys. It was
even funnier when you did it the second time, Mike.
Pretend. Let's pretend
how original! First time I've heard you doing that, Mike.
No, okay, but one of the things that we didn't talk about was Cheyenne Buys, and the fact that she basically on the post fight said that she doesn't really get paid like that.
She said something like
she was negative.
She was negative in her bank account, and that getting that I think it was a fight bonus.
Fight bonus. It was the 50,000.
Yeah, right? It was basically going to go towards paying your coaches and settling her debt, which is kind of crazy. And she was super emotional. She was crying at the press conference. Sad. They asked Dana White about it, and he's like, "Oh man, I don't know what to tell you. This is the sport."
Thanks for breaking the news. I was supposed to say it. Like,
he's a joke man.
Yeah,
like he's actually a joke man, and we can talk about it a little bit more as we get into the card that happened last night. But man, like the way I get it. He's the boss man, and he can't care too much about what are effectually, what's the word I'm looking for? Contractors. But still, like
it wasn't a good look for Dana.
It's been a consistently bad look. But my problem is, is there any press or PR that could get this guy out of here?
You know what's crazy though? I will say is that it's been a lot of press, a lot of PR, and a lot of journalists. So one of the few things that Dana journalists, that the group of the journalists at UFC have been kind of anti-UFC about is the fighter pay.
Yeah.
So I will say, to everyone's credit, they're not just kind of looking this off.
I guess, but what are they gonna do though? At the end of the day, there's a guy calling the shots for his shareholders and whatnot. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But Dana White is becoming more and more unlikable. And unless I'm mistaken, he's been president or head promoter or head honcho of the UFC for what?
20
years?
25 maybe?
Not even no talk of anyone new coming in, no talk of a younger guys with new ideas, like a real business, just one weird dictator at the top.
Yeah.
Good, man.
The problem is Dana was the guy when the UFC needed him most.
Yeah, but so what? Those days are done. Like, those days are done. Like, he's not even like a businessman. Anyway, let me not be disrespectful. Shouts out Dana White, but not really, though.
All right. Well, boys,
and shouts out Cheyenne Bynes, because we killed her when she got beat by Conejo.
Because she basically got beat by bunny ears by going in Scarfold. I'm sorry.
We are front headlock.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah, she's out here again. It looked like third grade recess. You're trying to see a fight.
Hilarious. No, shouts out to her.
It'd have to be some inescapable scandal or not scandal, but like just fumble.
They even tried that because remember
he was in some kind of fumble for them to say, yeah, he needs to be out here. Like somebody dies or something like that, or
even
if this COVID thing would have went sideways,
maybe
it would have. That
you know what he
sideways, like fighters got COVID because they did.
Yeah.
like what?
In fairness, like he kind of like the UFC, I think was one of the few places that actually figured out how to do this bubble thing, or like
because they were first.
They were first.
But that's if we were first and this COVID thing maybe turned out to be more serious or something like that. But that's just like hypotheticals. I'm just saying if something big would have to happen for him to be.
Well, see, they even remember the whole thing like a couple years back about him and his wife and whatever. Then again, like people's opinions on infidelity have completely changed since Tiger Woods. So maybe that's not even a comparison. But like all I'm trying to say is like.
Well, I do see like
Tiger Woods changed people's view on infidelity.
Yeah, because people like Tiger Woods. Well, I wouldn't say Tiger Woods, but the point I'm trying to make is.
You don't think Kobe Bryant's?
No, because people still cared about it after the fact. But like they were more so. I think that opened up more conversation.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad I looked up my phone. Okay, so there was this Japanese swimmer at the Olympics, Daya Sato. The only reason I'm bringing him up is because he essentially was like the top swimmer of the in the world and fell off because of a scandal where he was leaving a hotel with his mistress. Now, I understand Japan is a completely different.
Yeah, they treat fidelity a lot more.
Yeah, but they suspended him from like the sport though. Like, I don't know. I just feel like. I don't know. Some people are so weird about fidelity. I don't know.
Well, I mean, fidelity's a very real thing. Love you, honey, by the way, if you're listening.
Hilarious. Yeah, was his mic on?
I do not cheat. I do not cheat.
Sounds like a real guilty man. Yeah, exactly. Nobody even hinted.
No, but the point I'm trying to make, though, is that, unfortunately, like, I mean, two things. One, I think Dana White, short of murder, will get in, and even then, so that's the point. But the other thing is that like different scandals mean different things to different people, and Dana White has what's the word I'm looking for? Has built a reputation where he could damn near do anything he wants, and people will remember that fact that he got our sport out of the depths of despair. Right? I mean, there was more people in it, of course, but he's credited for a lot of it.
You know what? As an outside casual fan, a lot of people know Dana White. I don't think a lot of casual fans of the NFL or the NBA know Roger Goodell.
I'm a casual NFL fan. I know who Roger Goodell is and why people don't fuck with him. And I also know what's his name, Adam Silver is. And you can't even
maybe I'm wrong.
You can't even compare Adam Silver to. I mean, I don't know the baseball commissioner, so.
Well, all right. Let's talk about other things. So, in other UFC news, besides Miss Cheyenne Bynes and her whole thing, Conor McGregor and the Khabib feud has lived on.
Oh God!
Wow.
Right. Conor McGregor went on hot boxing and with Mike Tyson.
McGregor went on
Sorry.
hot boxing?
Habib Nurmagomedov
Okay, yeah.
went on hot boxing with Mike Tyson and disparaged him, calling.
Ooh, what'd he say?
Well, he basically called Conor McGregor, quote, a terrible person.
Yeah, said he was evil, and he must have tweeted it when he was drunk.
Yeah.
Which is probably true.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Right. But whatever, man. Like, I actually saw a tweet, or I think it was like a message from, I don't know, Instagram post. Who cares? From Colby Covington, who said, "We literally watch people punch each other in the face and go to war every Saturday, but we have problems with like a couple mean words." I thought that was a good point.
It was a good point. I just think there's a contextual line that you don't cross.
It was distasteful.
Yeah.
So people thought that what Khabib said was distasteful.
No, what
Conor said.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, we're giving no context here. So basically, what was even the context? Khabib
said good always overcomes evil.
When Conor lost to Dustin, Khabib says good always triumphs over evil, or something like to that effect. And then Conor responds with, okay, so COVID good, your father bad? Or something, or your father evil? Something like that.
In relation to
COVID killing. Yeah, some super disrespectful stuff. So obviously Khabib's gonna have like some kind of response to that, and I can see Khabib being mad, but when you got like DC coming in and saying like, oh,
well, that's Khabib's best friend, right?
I get it.
So he's defending his best friend.
Yeah.
I will say though, like the thing about the MMA that I think MMA and the UFC that I think Colby needs to understand is, I see MMA as a competition. I see it as competition, right? Yes, it's the purest form of fighting we have, but it's a competition. And in competition, there's sports. It's sportsmen. You're supposed to be a sportsman to an extent. In basketball, I trash talk a lot. You should have seen me on Saturday. I was a potty mouth.
Hilarious.
But at the end of the day, we shake hands.
You play basketball on Saturday? I'm sorry. Move on.
You were here. I looked for you. And you weren't here when it comes to basketball, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. That's not the point.
Brother travels.
But the point I'm trying to make is this. We at the end of the day shake hands, right? We talk trash. We get a little under our skin, but it's all in the matter of the game. There's a certain line that you don't cross, and I think when you talk, for example, remember DC and John Jones when they went to the wives, when they talked about the wives, and then it was like, okay, at this point, guys. Let's calm. Let's calm down. And I think both of them like silently apologize.
Yeah, I agree with the general sentiments that there are lines, but also I think we're a little overreactionary about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Conor McGregor said crazy stuff like throughout his career, crazy stuff. Yeah. So for us to be like, oh, I can't believe he said that to Khabib, like, yeah, of course he's gonna say that. The two don't like each other.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
And also, can I just say, like, can we stop talking about Conor McGregor with no fight lined up?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. I hear you. That's on me.
No, I'm just saying, like, geez, I get it. We want the clicks, but damn. And it's not just us, just the whole MMA community, like, blowing this up into, like, some big thing. Anyway.
I mean, it's always fun when guys get a little dramatic in the because they don't have any filter. It's one of the few sports that these guys just don't care. Unlike NBA, LeBron will say something measured. Like,
yeah, that's true.
And then hockey's even worse. Like, Jesus, when's the last time you heard someone say an ill word about somebody in hockey?
This is the last time you heard anybody say anything about hockey,
dude. And the crazy thing is, and the crazy thing is, Evander Kane has a scandal right now about betting on NHL games or something, and no one cares because no one says anything bad about anybody. So right. So
I did read about that. That's pretty funny.
All right. Well,
free my niggas, man. It's funny because he's a black hockey player. Okay, God.
Free my nigga Evander, bro. All right. Let's transition to actual fight news. The fights that happen.
The way Michael tries to still make it professional.
Yeah, really.
Guys, I'm trying. This is why I always say you guys are the worst after 6 o'clock.
It's so far from.
Like Michael really tries to hold this.
Yeah.
Well, it is my baby. It is my baby. Like I hate to say.
Hold on. Okay, we got some news. Emelian Fedor to face Tim Johnson.
Sorry, Emelian Fedor.
Fedor Emelianenko.
Thank you, man.
He's gonna face Tim Johnson. I don't know who Tim Johnson is, but
he's the guy who beat Czech Congo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a Czech Congo, man. Chad Mendes signs for BKFC.
I saw that too, man.
That's weird. He's a wrestler, no?
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They get these old MMA fighters. You see any retired boxers do it? No, exactly. Well, of note, like somebody who's like, because you want to know why? If you're a boxer of note, you've made enough money to retire comfortably.
That's not true,
right?
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that either.
Yeah, man.
Of note, a lot of these guys end up broke after.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they spend their money like ridiculously, but like.
Yeah.
And in camp too, like professional. Yeah, some shit.
Remember, I don't spend my money. We'll talk off air. We'll talk about
being a high level athlete is a lot of money, man.
But we'll talk off air about how you script that.
I actually saw a statistic not relevant to MMA, but apparently it costs like nearly at least $100,000 per year for an Olympic athlete to train.
Yeah.
And
high level training costs money.
Yeah, and even if you win a gold, let's say in the US, you might get $30K. In Canada, you might get $16, $17K for a gold. So it really, like, the math doesn't add up.
The exploitation.
Yep. Oh, I got another news item. Lou Rockhold versus Sean Strickland.
Oh yeah.
68. I like that.
I like that too. You know what? I thought Sean Strickland was the biggest mirage in the top 15. And I take it back.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, the guy's beating some dudes, man.
I mean, Christoph Joko doesn't count as a dude. Like, I'm sorry.
But after Uriah Hall, I'm
ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to. I'm not necessarily hopping on the Sean Strickland bandwagon to the title, but I do think he's a legit good competitor.
And what's the fight? A middleweight?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is something that would mess him up. Okay,
I think we're on the same boat. Like he's by no means, at least skill wise, when you look at him, he's by no means. Wait for the top 5.
No, he's good.
But he's watchable. He's like he's a good fight.
I mean, he's a good fighter.
He drowns you in pressure, and he's got some tools and tricks that makes you like. I really like how he feints off the jab. Like he's not particularly fast, but he feints the jab effectively. And you know what? Lots of guys need to learn how to do it because you're right, Hall. If he learned how to fade off a jab, he'd be a monster. But you know, here he is losing to Sean Strickland, wondering what happened to him after a spin kick KO. So, no, you're right, Hall. Please don't
there's some. You are doing a terrible job becoming MMA news today, Michael. No disrespect.
Hey man, it's all good.
Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. November 13th.
We talked about that last week.
Oh,
but yeah, sure.
Okay, my bad. I wasn't here. Okay.
Yeah, no one else was.
So I guess we all talked about Islam Makhachev versus Rafael Dos Anjos?
No, I didn't. That wasn't official yet.
Hilarious. Well, it is official. It's happening in UFC 267. I like that matchup for Islam a lot. RDA struggles with pressure. Seems to struggle with grapplers.
It's the weirdest thing. He's a grappler who struggles with grapplers.
Like, it's crazy. Like, if you just have, like, any kind of wrestling, like, you're probably going to be RDA, which is a shame because he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
Another one was, there's some mad ones, but Cody Garbrandt versus Kai Kara France.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
I like that.
Not
bad. Did you talk about Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori?
No, I did not. Brother, listen. Yeah, I was on my own. Like, I was on an island. Like, don't look at me like that. Don't judge me. Like
the battle of the Hulkamaniacs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vettori is not a impressive looking guy in terms of his structure. But he is a.
He's ripped. What are you talking about?
I mean,
Marvin Vettori's ripped. He might not be like bodybuilder Paulo Costa, but like. Pretty big dude.
No, okay.
Another picture of Vettori again.
You know what? Remember when Costa was facing Yo Romero and people were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Like
that was like,
yeah. It was a great fight too. Like the way they were swinging at each other, and I thought, not to get too deep into it.
We're getting way off. Right. Okay, and I think that's it for. I think that's it for MMA news. This is a weird line. Michael Chandler says he won't be vaccinated by November 6th if UFC 268 bout with Gaethje is in New York City.
Oh, yeah, because you need to be vaccinated in New York City in order to fight.
But why, though? Why wouldn't he be vaccinated?
Well, I guess he doesn't want to.
Sounds good. All right. I'm gonna leave that one right there.
Yeah, like
before we
there's
get demonetized.
you know,
Get the CDC warning.
I'll tell you what, like, yeah, it's because he doesn't want to. Like, when, look, the UFC has made clear they are a right-wing organization.
So
They're NASCAR.
funny. Yeah,
So,
I saw a tweet by Luke Thomas yesterday, like saying like there's 3 Republican politicians in the audience for the Houston event, and it's kind of like,
Yo, was Trump?
Yeah, he was
At the last event? He was
the last big one, the last big one.
And it's kind of like, man, what happened to keeping politics out of sports? What happened
No. It's keeping politics they don't agree with out of sports. Come on.
They did a political, right?
I mean, they did a good job in, like, covertly hiding it or covertly saying it.
Well, you know what's crazy? I always tell people.
Trump, and then they show a whole bunch of other celebrities.
Yeah, they showed Trump and everybody.
I don't know. The only reason why I knew Trump was at the last event was because it was part of the countdown, I think. The countdown show.
Yeah.
He'll release a tweet afterwards, I think.
Yeah. Well, I also will say, like, in the big, it seems as if the UFC shifted politics to who, like, because I always say early UFC was very liberal.
Yeah, but I feel was it you who made the point that it just kind of counterculture? So
yeah, zigzag.
Yeah.
They zigzag, right? So, and that's what their fan base is. Their fan base is usually just contrarian to be contrarian.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Oh my god, you should see. I mean, I'm sure you see some of the takes on YouTube, on Twitter, on like it's terrible. It makes me not want to talk about MMA. Like, but I keep it real. Like, some of you guys' takes are terrible.
They're a mess. But, like, you know what? You know who keeps me alive and well? You guys, but also Jack Slack and Luke Thomas.
But fair enough, it's kind of like...
And the Weasel, too.
And I wish I could say, these guys have never fought in their life. But some of them probably have and still have, like, the weirdest, like, takes on things.
Oh, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy because... we'll talk off
We'll talk over. Okay.
All right. Let's transition. Yeah.
Hold
on. Can I do the transition and actually look professional?
Yeah.
All right. Transition.
Ding, ding.
Okay. Card was good, guys. Card was good. Yeah. Let's get into the main event first because main event was kind of cool. Ciryl Gane.
Can we just put our marker down as like probably one of the first podcasts to talk about Ciryl Gane?
I told everybody this motherfucker was crazy from the jump. I can't kill anyone.
The first couple of fights, we were like, this guy is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I remember my line. Remember my line was always, if your name is not Francis Ngannou, you're not beating Ciryl Gane. That was always my thing. Okay, I want everyone to remember. I will make a compilation of all the times I said Ciryl Gane was going to... Compilation. And, usually when you see compilation, you see it next to something that you should not be seeing unless you're over the age of 18. But... And in some countries, 21.
I want compilations of all kinds, Mike. That's just showing you.
Alright, maybe that's just a me thing. Yeah, maybe that's just a me thing. Yeah, maybe that's just a me thing.
No compilations. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Right?
Mike, care to elaborate? What compilations are you talking about?
I am talking about the pornography, sir. Well, you didn't see that coming, did you?
No. Okay. Not with your parents sleeping in the other room.
No, it's a joke I usually get from people who always say, you can't use confirmation unless you're over the age of 18.
I'm glad you guys were talking about people's takes before, because something that I resent all three of you for is that I'll say some casual things, but it's like the casual conversation is the conversation, all right? And I just want to say, whenever I say this, why am I giving a disclaimer? This looked like a give up. Why am I giving a disclaimer? This looked like a give up kind of performance. This looks like somebody who quit. And
Jeff Lewis quit?
Whenever I say that, this is what he
is.
You sound like a casual face. No, this looked like okay. Let me chill.
Yeah, man.
Let me chill. This wasn't a give up because it was a. He turned away. Like it was a.
Bro, it was a.
This didn't look like somebody.
Did you see why he?
This didn't look like somebody who was hurt. This looked like somebody who was frustrated.
He did get hurt. He get hurt.
I'll agree with you that he was definitely frustrated because for 3 rounds he tried to get close again and was not getting anywhere near that dude. That dude is so. Once again, in his last fight, I'll say like he is definitely the most athletic fighter in the UFC, regardless of weight division. Like because like the way he moves is so like in comparison to
Full package.
Bro, like,
John Anik said it best. John Anik said best in the broadcast. 5-tool player. Five-tool player. That's what John Anik said in the podcast. In the broadcast, and what that means is basically in baseball, if a guy can run, hit, play defense, right? You know, and has like a high IQ. They're like 5 tools. Like they got the 5 tools, right? Ciryl Gane is that for the UFC. Like this man, I saw him at TKO, and I was telling Jeremy about this. TKO, he can knock people up. People think like he's pitter pattering.
No, and you know what?
He has good rhythm.
Great rhythm. His striking is great. Like
he cracked Derrick Lewis in that first round. Like absolutely rocked him, and it was almost like he was, and it was almost like he was like, okay, no, you're gonna respect me. Like you can't just think you're gonna just like bulldoze through this. And after that, like I feel like Derrick Lewis is a little bit more tentative in terms of like chasing Gane around the cage. But man, like Gane is just once again just so amazing. He's not only a freak athlete. He's, as you said, he's got a crazy IQ. You can tell like this guy's been training kickboxing, and honestly, not even just kickboxing. You can tell he's been training like either taekwondo or karate or something because his stance is different. The way he switches.
I'm gonna put a picture up for the people who see this. This is Derrick Lewis still in a fetal position. For people who don't like, for the audience at home, this is Derrick Lewis in a fetal position still as Ciryl Gane's walking off.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, it's crazy because I was just saying the way he switches stance is just so interesting. So he's not only like a freak athlete, high IQ, super technical with his striking, but his defense is amazing as well, and like his footwork is probably the best part.
Yeah,
like,
best in the division.
I think though, why does it? Here's my one criticism or possible criticism. Why does it feel like he doesn't have crazy power?
Because his last couple of matchups, he's not trying to hit all he can. He's playing it safe. And the problem with people is they want to see violence. They want to see.
I do want to see somebody like not someone that big just drop somebody with like a combination or like maybe like.
Okay,
but like man, like you have to.
It's like somebody who's that fluid. I wish you could just drop people.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I get it.
Cool.
I get it. I agree.
Well, you see what he can do in his bag. Like you see. I think the thing is, you see what he can do in his bag when he wants. Yeah. Right when he sits down, like for example, the first couple TKO matches he had, where he faced some scrubs and he was just throwing heat. And then the Derrick Lewis combo, the uppercut, and then
that uppercut was nasty, man.
The switch. Okay, so he switches stances and goes into the right elbow. I was like, oh my god, this guy. Like you're seeing crazy.
It's like arts.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like watching like somebody do a live rendition of some like historic poetry.
And here's the thing too.
No, he's honestly. Is he striking better than Rosenham? It's better. Like honestly, it might be. I really.
Well, obviously, it's better than Rosenham. I mean, like in relative, yeah.
I think Rosenham is more creative. I think her.
Not even.
No. Listen, find me someone who's throwing a switch elbow. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. He seems more like what you would expect.
Dude, this man switches into southpaw. Jeremy, he switches into southpaw. He bounces down his feet like a Taekwondo fighter at 250 pounds.
For 5 rounds.
And his lateral movements.
His lateral movement's insane. He can throw overhands. He kicks. Wow. He threw a spin kick in the fight. Are you kidding me?
Everything you're saying Rose can do.
Well, Rose is 115 pounds soaking wet, and she also, I hate to say it, guys, she's a woman.
It sounds very sexy.
I know, but you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
no, not really.
Right? Okay, the whole thing I'm trying to
defend Rose. I'm just saying, like.
No, I would say Gane has more technical proficiency than most, if not all, UFC fighters, bar maybe Adesanya.
On his feet, yes,
on his feet.
I mean, there's another fighter on this that was on this card that I beg to differ. Might have a better proficiency.
physio.
I dare I say.
I actually think like there were some.
Look, Bobby Gray may have good account of himself. For
I think
sure.
he showed a lot of holes in Physio's game. Yeah. But let's talk about that later. Let's keep it on Gane. Okay, this is where I disagree with Lewis giving up. I just think Ciryl Gane was way too good. Like another thing we haven't talked about, his ability to manage distance
was so
second to none. In the heavyweight division. If you think back to the Volkov fight where he pieced Volkov up,
and Volkov's the taller, longer guy.
Dude. He's a taller dude, and
picking him apart from the outside. What
like,
are we talking about?
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's kind of like the stereotypical thing. Like when you see a big guy in the gym, you're like, okay, use your length. Like keep him on the outside. He's doing that at the highest level to the most dangerous fighters in the world. Like,
you know what's crazy too? 3 years. Only 3 years. He's only been doing this for 3 years.
He has like 50 Muay Thai, which I
but that's the thing. That's the thing. He's only been doing Muay Thai for 3 years. So like
you can train.
You know, there's some guys who are athletes. Like Jeremy knows. There's a guy I trained named Kuwait. We call him Q for short. Picked it up in 4 weeks. We already have him training with some of the the MMA fighters. He's got it. You know, there's some guys who are just weird like that. Like
you don't mention me.
Jeremy picked up in 2 months. Jeremy picked up boxing in 2 months.
I've been boxing for a year and I can touch guys up.
Yeah, like he goes. So, but like I remember Jeremy, I was training him for 2 months. 2 months. We already have him training with some of the Muay Thai guys. Like, so there's some guys who are athletes who come over.
Quinn is his client. So
Hey. Sorry, did you spark Wayne? You know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend like we're.
No, Quinn's good.
Yeah, all right. So
I'm not trying to disrespect Quinn.
But my point is that some guys are just weird like that. Like if you're an athlete, you're light on your feet, you're used to like lateral movement, you're used to, you can just pick it up, right?
But man, still, his Taekwondo stance alone, like,
dude, he looks like a black belt.
Like,
he looks like a black belt.
I get what you're saying. There's some dudes that are athletic, but like they look like, with all due respect, Alonzo Mendenfield.
Yeah.
They don't look like.
Yeah, like you might get Greg. No, for real. For every Ciryl Gane, you're gonna get Greg Hardy. But like
the dude is doing. It's not just the athletic, it's the technical proficiency, which I've said a million times.
Well, and also should be said, Ferdinand Lopez is probably one of the best coaches in the UFC.
Why? Because he has 2 heavyweight champions?
He's had 2 guys who transitioned into MMA. Like really quickly. Really quickly.
Oh man, I don't know.
Francis Ngannou was like real quick.
Yeah, I know.
And Ciryl Gane, real quick. So
so he coaches 2 guys.
Well, Francis Ngannou left, I think, to Extreme Couture, but to train with Eric Nixon and Dewey.
To work his wrestling.
Yeah, to work his wrestling. But he's had at some point 2 high level contenders who picked it up in like a very insanely short amount of time.
Well, to be fair,
I think at some point you have to give him his flowers.
Kickboxing and Muay Thai is pretty big in France.
It is.
They're pretty good at it. So
yeah, but he found Ciryl Gane playing basketball, working at a furniture store, bro. Like, yeah.
Hey man, Wilder, I think in 2 years went to the Olympics or something.
Bronze medal, yeah. So.
And here we are, and here I was dissing Breland.
But the difference between like Wilder and Gane
is Gane actually has technical prowess.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Anyway,
let's talk about this actual fight.
I felt like Lewis was looking for the knockout, like he always is. He had 0 answers for Gane. He tried to throw, his straight rights. He tried to throw, I think, like a switch, jumping knee at some point.
Jumping switch kick. And let me just say, it's not a bad switch kick, like, on its own. Like, it's actually, like, he gets up. But it's just, the timing on it is just so bad. Like, it's like, yo.
It was bad, but that's because I feel like Gane made it bad.
I feel like that's the problem, right? Like, how much of it was Derrick Lewis laid an egg, which he did, but how much of it was also Gane just has the ability to freeze guys.
Derrick Lewis is the counter fighter.
Yeah.
Let's call it as it is. He's not going to walk you down and absolutely pound you. Like, that's not his style. He's going to make it a brawl, make you make a mistake, and he's going to get you.
Yeah.
But the problem is Gane was making no mistakes at all. He was more than comfortable just like sitting on the outside and basically teeing off on this dude.
He wasn't really even staying on the outside, like a range.
Like in the range, just basically jabs, low kicks.
Like it seemed like he was moving forward.
No.
Lewis was moving back.
He was for sure walking him down, but he was like at a distance where like I can touch you, you can't touch me, kind of thing.
True.
And
yeah, that was one thing I noticed was the reach difference.
Lewis had a huge problem with that, and I feel like Lewis did do some things kind of right, and in another night maybe could have turned the tide. Like, had he maybe gone for a little bit more wrestling, tried to like clinch a little bit more, but honestly, like he was getting beat up in the clinches. Eventually, it became the point where Gane was the one looking for the clinches. He would like, he kept throwing that switch elbow. He must have thrown that thing like 3 times during the fight. And sometimes Lewis would get out of the way, but immediately they clinch. He'd like frame up, throw a knee, break up. Like, yeah, man, he's so good. And I felt like Lewis just didn't. And it was just a mismatch with all due respect. Like,
well, we knew this was going to be it for the jump. Is that like Derrick Lewis's chances were going to be,
100% pretty much.
Yeah, it was going to be when he was going to catch him slipping. Unfortunately, and you never know, right? But Gane's just really good at distance management. A couple things I noticed was he knows early that Derrick Lewis wasn't checking leg kicks. So what did he do? Switch to orthodox and just started blasting,
slamming them.
Started blasting. I think the thing for me is going southpaw just so you could see that right hand coming. Like, high IQ.
Switching so much.
High IQ.
It was ridiculous. Like, he would literally do like a 3-piece combo, switch, 2-piece, switch, leg kick, switch. Like, he was switching like for fun. Like, it was kind of crazy.
Find me another fighter. I don't even say heavy. Find me another fighter who switches as effectively as Ciryl Gane does.
That's probably the only one I can think of. Maybe
I would say Gavin Tucker is a good switch fighter, but even him is like he switches intermittently. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna stay here and do a combo, and I'm gonna do this and do a combo.
You're right. Like, it's almost it became a point where I couldn't even tell what his dominant side was because like both like his hands and both of his legs have power. If that makes any sense. Like he looked like and it looked like
you know what I think that's the basketball influence because it's like he has to use his right and his left.
Sure.
So maybe it's just like one of those things where it's like he's used to kind of going to that side and going to the but
and he was doing so and his switches weren't like long drawn out switches. It was like hop switch. Like it was crazy. What was I gonna say? And I forgot.
Yeah, it was
just Lewis just simply got outclassed.
Yeah.
Gane's just better. He's just better.
Yeah. And this is the thing, Lewis, like every fight we talk about, Lewis does seem to get kind of pieced up until he doesn't. So
but
this is
the thing
just
is that Gane's hand placement was so good that even when he led the exchanges, when Derrick Lewis came back with some bombs, his hands were in the right place where you could just throw them up and just defend. And I think if Derrick Lewis caught Gane on at the end of any of those like big counter punches, then I think Gane might have got rocked because some of those I saw some of them they landed on Gane's shoulder. And it sounded like it hurt, so like...
the sound of them were crazy, but...
I was also going to say, Derrick Lewis came into the fight 264.5.
Yeah.
Huge, 264.5. Gane was like, what, 230?
247. He came in at 247.
Gane looked like the stronger fighter out there.
So this was the crazy thing that I want to talk about. Yeah, this was the crazy thing I want to talk about. The clinch exchanges, for me...
Like, dominated them.
Oh my god! Like throwing Derrick Lewis up against the cage,
like who does that?
Oh,
who does that?
Oh, and like, what are you gonna do at that point? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, okay. Also, the jab.
No, that was the one that really stood out for me. Like it's one thing to be like he was like. It's one thing to like flicking your jab and like catching. It's another thing to be like. Clocking somebody with your jab. Like you would see Derrick Lewis literally head back snap. Like man, he was getting rocked.
Dude, you know what it reminds me of? Remember what was the show? Okay, remember that one show where the two girls are fighting and this girl thought she really had in the bag and then gets pieced up. I can't remember what show it was, but it was like it felt like that where it's like Derrick Lewis really thought he had a chance.
Yeah.
And he went in there and was like, oh. You know, like
there's levels to this. There's levels to this. It's
Yeah,
almost, it
like-
reminded me kind of like the DC fight, if that
Yeah.
could be like where it's just there's such a huge skill gap. With all due respect to Derrick Lewis, who has got the most knockouts in UFC history, heavyweight history. So he must be doing something right.
Yeah, he's done a lot with the tools.
What he has,
with what he
exactly.
has. He's
And
done
I
a
actually
lot.
think he's
got the
getting
most.
better too, like
Yeah.
for what it's worth. Like I think like early Derrick Lewis was super raw and kind of one note. I think now he's got a little more tools to his game, and at least he's got better understanding of like.
Try to throw a little jumping kick.
That's what I'm saying. Like at least he understands like the dynamics and the flow of like the fight a little bit more. Like he's a little bit more
though, like,
wise.
I hate to go here, but like you mentioned the 264.5. You think it's time for him to maybe try to
Drop to another division?
no, not drop to another division, but try to get to like
No.
250?
He's a big boy. He's a big boy. Let the big boy be a big boy. I ain't got no problem with that.
No, I don't got problems with it either. It's just, if you're gonna want to beat like Stipe's 230, right? Francis even dropped down to 250 and was upset because he wanted to go down to 245,
Yeah?
right?
That's his cuts.
Yeah, Francis cuts, but like he wanted to go low. Ciryl Gane's 250, right? Even I always said DC. I like
The
DC.
better heavyweight to gain leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Aspinall's like 238, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Aspinall's 238. I always said I like DC at heavyweight best when he was 220, 225, right? Because he was still kicking effectively, but he was strong enough to throw these guys around. And then you saw what happened when he started going like 240, 250, 260. Still good, right? And was still competitive, but he was much better. I felt like
Hey,
when he
maybe
was.
he'll get faster if Derrick Lewis cuts. Maybe he'll
Right.
get faster, so it's not a bad idea.
Well, it's not necessarily a question of speed, but it's just like a question of mobility so far. Because it just seemed
I
like
think, like with all
That
due
too.
respect, he doesn't have a game that relies on mobility. His game is definitely a strength and like punching, not even kicks like that. I mean, he does have really good low kicks, but like
he doesn't throw much. Though.
doesn't throw much, and especially not against like a guy like Ciryl Gane who is picking him apart and flaming his legs the entire time. So I don't know, man. I think Derrick Lewis should keep doing what he's doing because like it worked for him, and he just got beat by a better fighter that night.
Yeah, but like the issue that he's gonna run into is he's always gonna fight these top four guys who are gonna send him packing.
Yeah, but
right?
he's a top four guy though. Like he deserves to fight them. When you put him against like some of these other dudes.
Look, I'm just saying, if he faces Stipe will kill him. Oh, okay, I should say Stipe will hurt him.
I actually think that's a pretty even matchup.
Stipe will hurt him.
I actually think that's a pretty even
If
matchup.
Stipe didn't lose to Ngannou, you
Yeah.
would say that it would be a wash.
No, man. I think it's
I
a
feel like-
pretty.
Stipe,
that's a pretty
you
even
never
matchup.
want to use the K word in these
Yeah,
things. 'Cause
no,
you never know what could actually happen. No, but you get what the point I'm trying to say. Like, Stipe will hurt him.
I
Stipe
don't
will hurt
think
him.
so. I think
Then again, I said that about Fiziev versus Green.
he would hurt him, but I think like Lewis just he can crack, man, and we don't know what Stipe's like in terms of receiving. those
Okay,
punches.
so Stipe throws a pivot straight right on Lewis for the 5th time. You think Lewis isn't going down?
But Derrick Lewis usually, and that's the weird thing about this fight. Lewis usually doesn't get hit like that.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, that jab into the eye and him
bro, like
about the eye, like when he complained, right?
Yeah,
and I was
right.
like, and I looked at it, I was like, no, that's a
yeah,
jab. I was like,
that's a jab.
I was like, that's
right
a
to the
jab.
socket.
When you see that, you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah, for real.
Like Gon could end this whenever he wants,
pretty
right?
much.
At that point, I was like, he could end it whenever he wants. And when Gon gets poked in the eye, and he's like, and then goes right back to jabbing your face up, I was like,
are you good?
uh-oh. I was like, uh-oh. So my whole point is like, look, I thought he was gonna lose to Blades. He proved us wrong.
Yep.
But other than that, like, who's the top 3? Ngannou, Stipe, and Gon, right?
Lewis has a win over Ngannou, man. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And he beat him. It wasn't a great fight, but he beat him.
He did beat him.
So, I mean, I don't know. I get what you mean.
I mean,
If it's
let's
a
be honest.
technical-
Gon was not whole in that fight, though.
Who, Ngannou?
Yeah, Ngannou was not whole in that fight.
No, he was definitely missing a part of his soul.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
taking it, but still,
he had to do some soul searching.
For sure.
Ultimately, I think Lewis got frustrated and he gave up on trying to win.
No, if anything, I actually also think that towards the end, not playing possum, but he was kind of shelling up so that he could fire
find
back.
this,
But the problem was
I do kind of see where Jeremy's coming from, though. Like, there was an element of, like, frustration.
No, he was definitely frustrated.
Right? And there was an element of kind of, like not get me out of here, but... No, not quite. Like, not but there's definitely an element of, like... Of despair.
Only boxing fans use that.
Boxing fans use it a lot. I gotta say, boxing fans use that a lot, and they gotta stop. Like, quit. You gotta stop.
Yeah.
In boxing, you can. Cause you know why? Because in you, I don't even know. It's in boxing, you can clearly see when somebody quit. Like, you can clearly call it out.
It's not quitting as opposed to despair. That's what I like to call it. It's when you are... Well, when you're in despair... When you're in despair, what happens to you is like... You just don't see a way out. You want to try to get out, but like you don't see the light. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not necessarily a quitting aspect as opposed to a hopelessness aspect, right? So it's not like Derrick Lewis is like, get me out of here, but you just like, what is the point? Exactly.
No. He got worked. Yeah. For sure. But
that's all I'm hearing, though.
That's pretty cool.
All right, moving on.
Before we... Early predictions for Gane versus Ngannou.
I honestly don't know.
I really don't know.
I honestly don't know.
My head...
You know Gane's a favorite in that fight, according to betting lines?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
He's just too technical.
But like, if Ngannou touches him. Like, just touches him. Like,
but we've seen his defense. We know it's good. Like, we know that Gane can avoid Ngannou for 5 rounds. Maybe. Because here's the thing about Ngannou. He's actually really fast. He's crazy quick. He's crazy quick.
Yeah. So it's like, what if Ngannou just like helicopter punches a lot?
But could he get there? Rosenstruck doesn't, with all respect, in lateral movement.
Yes.
Like, you're not going to be able to just bum rush.
But so does Stipe.
Lewis tried to bum rush, what's his name? Gane, and he couldn't do it. Like, you can't just like beeline at him and think you're gonna get him. Like,
I mean, in fairness, didn't Stipe? In fairness, Stipe has lateral movement, like not Gane like lateral movement, but still lateral movement. Like, he's one of the few fighters who can do it at the division.
It's different.
Yeah, no, I know
like,
it's a different.
Stipe won't pick on you from the outside. He'll move like defensively.
You know what's crazy though? I do think Stipe has a shot against Gane. Because Stipe is a willing wrestler. So I've always kind of like, I'm not saying Gane is a great grappler. It's one of the find me another guy who has a heel hook finish in the heavyweight division. You can't do it. In the UFC?
Frank Mir, I don't even know.
Frank Mir won by knee bar.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Like, I'm pretty sure he threw some leg stuff. Yeah.
But like, even Fabrizio Verdum doesn't have one, right? So, for sure Gane's a good grappler, but like, good grappler and having good takedown defense is two different things.
Yeah.
So could Stipe probably put him in the grind cycle? And if Stipe could put him in the grind cycle,
but he showed. Yeah, we should move on to him. But he showed his grappling defense in this match. In this fight, because Lewis did try to take him down and clinch him, and he was having none of it, man. Like,
I mean, Lewis tried to take it. Yeah. Lewis tried to take it.
Those takedowns were kind of bad.
They were not the greatest. Not necessarily blast doubles.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, and you know that, but it was surprising. I will say, last point before we move on, it was surprising to see Ciryl Gane ragdoll him in those clinch exchanges.
Yeah,
like, just throw him around. Like, I was like, whoa. No one does that to Derrick Lewis. Like,
and also, I know we said we'd move on. Boo to the UFC for making this an interim belt. Still, I'm still not over it.
No, it's
justice for Francis, man. Justice for Francis, because what they're doing to him is sick.
They want him to fight 3 months after fighting. Like, it was crazy.
And now Dana's saying like, oh, maybe we could do the fight in Paris. Like, buddy, like,
shut up,
man. What a guy.
I would have no problem with Dana White if he came out and said, "Look, I run shit. Close your mouth." But he tries to still act like the nice guy.
No.
He tries to still pull off.
I completely disagree. I think he's dropped the nice guy act. I think he's like fully almost Trumpian.
Okay.
No, I think he's almost like Trump, where he's so.
I mean, they are boys.
Firm in his viewpoint.
So then he is.
I think
I have no problem with him then. If he comes out and says, "Look, I run shit," like, of course he can disagree with.
He doesn't, but he makes. my problem with it is like he makes the other people look ridiculous.
Oh,
or
yeah,
He tries,
unreasonable.
he tries. See, here's the thing. One of the things. It's funny you mentioned Trumpian because Dana White is very good at like framing his argument as common sense, right? And if you're not privy, you're like, it makes a lot of common sense. Yeah. But then you don't realize the context he's speaking in. And you're like, wait a second here. Like, and here's the thing.
And also, what he says is totally different from how he behaves behind the scenes.
Yeah,
like,
right.
There's enough stories from fighters to be like, he'll say something, we'll shake hands one day, and then the next day, like, it's like, I'm nobody.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing. I would have no problem with that whole common sense argument if you are willing to take criticism and willing to go from there. And he doesn't do that.
He's
like,
not gonna take criticism. Not that when you're in that position, like you can't be listening to too many people.
You can't be like, no, I get it. The last thing you want to listen to in that position is like guy number 4.
On the internet,
yeah,
for sure.
But what I'm trying to explain though is that like innovating is a main thing in business, and
I agree.
So, but yeah. Anyway, okay. Co-main event. Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz.
What a fight!
Good fight. It's crazy that one of the best leg kickers in UFC history also has really fast hands.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see him pair it together more. But
I saw online people were saying, and I definitely have way less to say about this fight than the previous one, but I saw online people saying that Jose probably doesn't kick as much. Having watched the McGregor fight, having watched what's his name? What's his name? Forget. Chris Weidman snap his leg in two. Having watched Anderson Silva snap his leg in two, just firing leg kicks. He's probably like, you know what? Maybe I should take it easy. But I would say like during the third round, he definitely picked it up with his leg kicks as well.
Yeah, the output was much better in the third. But like the thing is, every time he throws it, he gets these guys to just like say,
drop.
Yeah, like he's one of the few guys who can drop you with one of them.
Yeah.
One. So. You know, I mean, full disclosure, he won 30-27. It was a shutout, but
it was pretty bad.
But my point is that like for a guy who can drop you with one or two leg kicks,
and he's getting better as well. Like I mean, at least he's getting more tactical with his fights. I feel anyway. Yeah. But then again, it just makes Yan beating him so much more impressive because
he beat the piss out of the poor guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I do not. That ending was almost uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was actually kind of ugly.
Yeah. What's it called? Being on him for an uncomfortable.
Like literally like 90 minutes, like 90 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, Jason really just dropped the ball in that. But like it was, this fight was interesting to me because it's like, hey, Jose, you want to throw a leg kick? It's like, oh, no, because you got one of the best jabs in the division. Okay, fair enough.
Munoz was trying to throw some spinning stuff. It was not working.
Yeah.
It was not. Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. You can't beat Jose Aldo. I don't think that makes you a bad fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he is one of the best fighters of all time. So, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, let alone this fight, like, what is Jose Aldo's legacy? Because I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and a top 10 fighter of all time. I don't care what anyone says. But, because for a while him and Dana were having problems, and also because unfortunately, because he doesn't speak English, he does tend to get kind of put in the back burner. Or at least doesn't speak English effectively. But I think he, when it's all said and done, Jose Aldo's in the top 10 of all time. All time, and this is
least in the weight. Well, definitely in the weight division, but I don't know. When you start doing top 10 of all time, then we're talking about mixed weights. Like, is Jose Aldo more dominant than like Mighty Mouse? Like, I don't know.
Yes, I mean, did you see the run he was on in WEC, and then he came to the UFC?
Mighty Mouse's run?
I know, but like, you can make an argument he was just as, if not more, dominant. Like some of the fights, Uriah Faber. The way he just, like, by the end of it, poor Uriah Faber's limping, like, asking for mercy, and the ref is not granting it. Like, it's like, oh my God. The Mark Hominick fight, I think, was one of those ones where it was like, okay, he has a baby out of his head. He's pregnant.
Hilarious.
Out of his head, and he's not, and then he's basically he's out to lunch for the last 2 rounds. So, yeah, I think Jose Aldo is one of the greatest of all time. And I think this fight didn't really need to show me that he's anymore, but it was just nice to see that he's still a top 5 to top 3 fighter in that division, you know?
For sure. I just want to look something up really quickly, just to make sure I'm not making it up.
Oh, by the way, fun stat about the Ngannou-Gane fight. Ngannou-Lewis fight. You know, unofficially, Lewis landed only 8 strikes in that fight.
Yeah, I believe it.
And that's super generous, because I only counted 4.
Yeah, I literally, like, he barely landed a single punch. Anyway, no, I just wanted to make a point. Jose Aldo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is younger than TJ Dillashaw.
I heard that. Which makes a lot of sense. He started at, like, a very young age.
Yeah, it's trippy, though. Yeah. It means, like, he can still go on for, like, another 3-4 years, and... I mean, I wouldn't love to see that 4 years in. But...
I think he was WEC champion at 21.
Yeah, he was, like, one of the youngest... Anyway, I'm not making a statistic up, but yeah, he was super young.
Yeah.
When he fought. Even when he first entered the UFC, he was, like, super duper young.
Yeah, oh, man. Sorry for the yawn there, but... and even then, like, you know, when he lost the belt to Conor McGregor, he was, like, 30. So... He's got a lot of I think he's got a couple fights left in him for sure. I think he's got one more title run in him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can beat Peter Yan though, and I hate to say it, Aljamain Sterling's losing the belt to Peter Yan. Does anyone disagree?
We'll see. Maybe he's in that first round. He was doing okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I don't like Jose Aldo versus Aljamain Sterling. For Sterling, I think he loses that fight.
Yeah, I think Sterling. Honestly, I like Sterling a lot versus a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But not against Yan or Aldo.
That's not a good matchup for him.
Yeah, I think him versus Dillashaw is actually a pretty one-sided fight for Sterling.
Oh, okay.
For Sterling. But speaking of Dillashaw, yeah.
I don't know.
I think if you grapple with Sterling will show you the door. The problem is
Dillashaw wouldn't grapple. And we are talking about two
different
fighters right now.
Anyway, Dillashaw. It's funny you mentioned Dillashaw though, because Aldo wants Dillashaw next.
I would like that fight a lot. I like that fight a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the other fight. The next fight, Vicente. Or do you have any thoughts on that one?
I didn't watch that one, nor did I watch the Luque. I kind of watched the Luque fight, but my very legal.
Yeah.
Was
UFC Fight Pass stream. I get it. Your PPV. Yeah.
Very legal fight. UFC Fight Pass.
I was having a few technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw it. Looked like honestly, I didn't see enough to even. You guys go ahead.
Dude, that was a fun fight.
That was a fun fight.
Yeah.
And you know what? First of all, Vicente Luque is just a killer, man. Like,
dude.
You know, as I'm sure you appreciate the Muay Thai arts as well. Like, man, like to see a dude just traditional style beat guys up is just a pleasure to watch. Like he's so fun in terms of like he has like a high guard, like
guard,
like
light on the front foot.
Man, it's just a beauty to watch in MMA. Like
traditional Muay Thai.
Yeah, traditional Muay Thai.
Guy like eats the punches and then comes forward.
Yeah. And it's all about like his hook return, all about like
hook
forward
low
pressure.
kick.
Exactly, man. He's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch somebody dominate like that. But the part that really shocked me is when it went to the ground. First of all, I thought Keza was really smart in getting it to the ground because I think it was off a leg kick, right? Or a kick from Luque.
He just waited for, you know what, it was kind of off of a combo, but he went down and dipped low off of, I think, a hook.
Okay.
The thing about it with Chiesa, too, that I really appreciate, too, is he moved around left and right to try to get Luque to get frustrated and sit down and start throwing, right? Or, like, chase him, and then went for the double, which I appreciate. I think tactically that's a great idea.
That was a smart idea. I mean, he didn't offer anything on the feet to Luque, but that's understandable. And
then when at the second Chiesa threw a 1-2, staggers Luque a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Luque gets frustrated, tries to go for it, and then Chiesa, gets the plan in motion, sets himself up, gets full mount, gets the back, goes for a rear naked choke.
And I thought it was done.
Nearly had it.
Like, but credit to Vicente Luque.
Gets the hook out, fights it through it, and
the rest is history. Literally, as soon as he reverses it, I'm like, okay, they're gonna break. We're gonna get back to stand up. Vicente Luque's gonna play. Nope. Didn't even bother. Just like slips that arm, that hook underneath.
I hate to admit it because I always say this. I said this off the air. Remember when Stefano used to tell us Vicente Luque has a really good dart?
Sure, yeah.
And remember against Stefano Luque, he said it. I was like, shut up. Like
Vicente Luque's not throwing up at darts, buddy. Like, if you shoot on him, maybe. But like, and to be fair, that's kind of how it played out. Yeah.
But sure enough, Tyron Woodley shoots on Vicente Luque off of game rocked, and Vicente Luque locked that shit up, and you're like, okay, well, Tyron Woodley's on the decline. He's gonna get cut. Yada. Michael Chiesa has not lost at welterweight to this point. Has not lost.
And it's made like good fighters. Who did he fight before this?
Neil Magny.
Yeah, he's a good fighter
Yeah.
and a decent-ish grappler.
Yeah.
Made him look average.
Yeah.
So like he's got some skills for sure. And to be fair, I think he could have locked that rear naked choke in.
Yeah.
Like, I think in a different night he might have locked that in.
Yeah, I think Luque. The thing is, Luque got that hook out.
Oh yeah, he was squirming. Yes, now it's coming back to me. That's right. He was like getting out of it. It looked like it was almost in. Yeah.
I literally as soon as like it got to the ground, I was like, okay, Chiesa's got a huge advantage. He's a black belt.
I believe so, actually.
Yeah, he's got a huge advantage on the ground. This should be a wrap. Especially once he starts like getting the hooks in, like kind of like.
How come he couldn't finish it?
Well, Luque got his hook out early and then fought through it. Because as much as Chiesa had it, he had it at the chin level, which is still a very nasty submission, but it's more of a
chin, right?
it's still a very nasty version of it, but it's a neck crank. And so you gotta kind of turn the neck to side for it to work. I mean, because y'all in the studio, I can show you guys. No, I'm kidding. But it's
studio.
Yeah, exactly. Crack my neck. Go on.
Yeah, all right, come on.
No.
I'm getting up. Don't worry.
No, this guy's gonna actually crack my neck. Hilarious.
Oh, I fell.
Wow, this guy.
I fell. Oh,
unplugs the whole thing.
All right. No, you're good. Don't worry. But yeah, like I think the whole thing with it is that, Luque got the hook out early, and because it was a neck crank and Chiesa couldn't control the neck the full way through, Luque was able to kind of fight through the pain a little bit and get out. And once they were out and Luque kind of reversed the position, Chiesa going for a reverse triangle. Don't think I didn't notice what he was trying there. He's going out for a reverse triangle and then going for an armbar switch.
He was trying to, because he went for the rear naked choke and saw that he couldn't land it, and then he kind of was like trying to switch positions.
Yeah, he tried.
That's when like Luque stands up.
Yeah. So goes reverse triangle first, and then goes for the armbar switch. Armbar switch didn't happen for him. He's on his back. He gets up, goes for a takedown, and Luque sinks that darts in like nobody's business. Super quick. Gotta give it to Luque because I don't think anyone saw that coming. And when he went for the triangle, I was at All Stars with my boys. My friend, by the way, was asking, "Oh, what weight class do these guys fight in?" Every fight, it was like,
"Well, don't you love it?"
Dude, it made me wonder why I watch it at home and not like. It made me realize why. I do that.
For real. I've actually I think the best way to appreciate UFC, ironically, is at home.
Yeah,
by yourself.
By yourself.
Because when you're with people, you don't see what's going on, and then you get dumb questions as well.
Yeah, it's like, what weight class do they fight in? And it's like, who cares? Who cares?
Except if it's a Conor McGregor fight.
Yeah,
that's the one fight, or even a John Jones fight.
You know what? Ante below. Who's the best fighter to watch with casuals around? Is it?
Conor McGregor.
It might be Adesanya for me because Adesanya, people can appreciate the striking prowess a little more because it's striking's a lot easier to notice.
Oh God, you're such elitist.
What?
You're such elitist.
Oh, 100%. And what's your problem? What's your problem?
Because I watch boxing when people want to play music in the background stuff. I can still appreciate it.
Dude, because the thing about boxing is it's easy to kind of not easy to understand because there's intricacies to the game for sure that no, you don't get unless you're a master of it. But people understand.
So you're saying it can't be the fight can't be enjoyed unless people watch it the way you want to watch it.
No.
That's what you're saying.
The way we
the way we consume MMA is different. So that when people ask certain things, it just gets on your nerves. I'm sorry.
I would say I'm halfway in between Stefano and Michael and you, Jeremy, in terms of I'm an avid casual. But yeah, no, like it's just easier to appreciate.
Absolutely, I agree.
And like watch
Dude,
every
I
single
even
moment.
think boxing's like that too. Like
For
sometimes
real, like
people,
a lot of the best, like a lot of like most Canelo fights I've watched alone because like, well, fair enough. I don't know a lot of people who like watching boxing, but also like then you can actually see what you can see more of the action and you're not distracted personally.
Like the tank fights. The tank fights to me are the worst because like the black community, God bless your heart, but like you guys
They
are
overreact to everything.
Oh my! Every tank punch, it's like oh! It's like okay, relax. He threw it on a guard, guys. Like
Overreact to
every tank punch, right? And again, he's
We're
a
talking
hero.
about the white people do that shit too.
Oh yeah, whenever it's Carl Frampton. Remember back in the day when Carl Frampton was going? Oh my God! Every Carl Frampton fight, like they
It's
thought
just
this
if
guy
it's
was
your
gone.
guy. Yeah, it's just if these. If it's your guy, people will.
Yeah.
Like
You know-
they were doing that during the Andy Ruiz fight when he was fighting Areola. Like,
Oh my God!
Like
they were
people were freaking out and he was punching all his stuff was landing on his guard. Like, what do you?
Yeah. Like, dude, it was crazy. So, like, I feel like they do it to every sport, but I think, like, with boxing, it's a little more palatable, like, to get, because punching somebody in the face is something we all understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, things like distance management and you stringing together punches and kicks.
Like grappling?
Oh, and then grappling is the worst. Like, how many times do you hear this? Why does he just stand up?
Yeah, all the time.
It's like no, he can't stand up because he's stopping him.
Because he's holding. There's a man holding him.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's like
I've never heard that before. Why would somebody think that?
Like, why don't the ref just stand these guys up? Like, no.
It's like, oh, they're not doing anything. What's he doing? He's just laying on him.
Yeah, he's
like,
laying on him, just hugging him.
Dude, I remember, you know, at the risk of kind of showing my company, I remember there was one guy who said something pretty homophobic. He goes, "This looks like gay porn."
Yeah, no.
I was like,
who are you watching fights with?
No, most casuals who don't know the sport, like that's, especially when you've never seen it, like that's, and you see a grappling exchange, like that's what you're gonna think it is. Even like in a guard, if you think about it, like getting in someone's guard, it does have a very homoerotic tone.
Does it look like missionary? Is that what you're trying to say?
Sure.
I don't know, man. First time I started watching UFC and it went to the ground, I was like, I was a pure naive kid. Like, I was just like, this looks like a very dangerous activity. Like, I never thought anything like this. Like, it's a very that's what you should think if you know anything about like being in a fight or like, I don't know.
No, you're right.
Because when we went to Thing's birthday party last year, nobody there said that, and that was all black people. I don't think anybody there was like a heavy UFC fan, and I didn't hear any ignorant questions.
Whose birthday party again?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say their name because it was kind of like against COVID.
Oh yeah.
But, you remember like the one that was like around downtown?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Right. But yeah, like now it's interesting. But you know, what fight? Luque and Chiesa. Yeah, I think if Luque has a darts to his game too, and you can't take him down. I mean, there are guys who can beat him. You know, sure. And the high guard is a detriment almost in a little bit in some ways.
I know how you feel about the high guard, but you lectured me on Thursday about my high guard.
My lecture was not about the high guard. My lecture was about you doing the high guard and how when you do it, you can't fucking see.
I reflected on it, and definitely my former coach, I guess, was saying the exact same thing. He was like, buddy, like, you gotta, like, you can't just cover your eyes. Yeah. So, yeah, I get what you mean.
You can't, you throw it, like this is David's high guard, but I'm showing everybody, my eye. You can't
protect the valuable material. You can't protect the valuable.
It's like, yo.
I did see a tweet from, what's his name? Kamaru Usman saying that Luque looked good. Yeah. I would like to see that fight. I know that, he'd probably be skipping a few people, Leon Edwards, for that welterweight title, but like, yeah, or even like Luque versus Colby. I think Colby wins that. Yeah. But
I'll be honest,
I'd like to see it.
Yeah. Dude, could you imagine if Luque beat Colby Covington though? Like Brazil would go crazy.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
Right? But yeah. I don't really want to talk about Angela Hill versus Tisha Torres.
Sorry, guys.
Tisha, good job, good win. Yeah, but
just one point on that to bring it back to my whole quitting thing. that's somebody who was being outclassed but still came forward. Not
Oh,
somebody
Angelo?
who shelled up. So it's like I see that, and then I see something like that. It's like you can still be frustrated and still
Teacher Torres
come forward.
not hitting like Ciryl Gane. But I hear you though.
Yeah.
I hear you. Like,
I mean,
somebody
and
will-
also Derrick Lewis's natural defense is to kind of like
I
shell
guess,
up.
and see
and
that's
then, like,
that.
yeah.
I understand that point, so that's why I can't fully say he like quit.
And plus, like
I
just
do
feel like
understand your point, though.
he's
There was
at home,
despair.
too. Like he's from Houston. He's fighting in front of a home crowd.
Right.
Like there's no way Derrick
so
Lewis.
so
is
you
just
have
quitting.
to put that human aspect.
Yeah, man. There's no way he's got probably got his family. There's no way he's just
God,
quitting.
could you imagine he's quitting in front of his wife in the front row? Come
Like,
on.
would you quit in front of like your entire family if you're fighting? Even
I
if you're
wouldn't
getting
quit.
outclassed.
Right. No, I wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Um,
I mean, it was definitely frustration and despair a little bit, for sure.
For sure. He was
But,
definitely frustrated. Why are we still talking about
Yeah,
this?
we can.
No. It was just a quick thing about like the comparison. That's
Yeah.
all.
No, fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, point taken.
Well,
Song Yadong.
Song
Casey
Yadong.
Kennedy. Song Yadong's nice, man. He's ready.
yeah. You know, Casey Kennedy needs more credit because that's 2 straight losses for him, but they're 2 against like Dominic Cruz and
Song
Song Yadong. Song Yadong, I think the steam on him as a legit like contender has kind of died down a little bit for
I
sure.
think he could still be legit. He definitely, with all due respect, needs to add a little bit more to his game.
Yeah, the 1-2 and that's it is not gonna.
Yeah, it's not gonna cut it.
Yeah,
but-
like you need more than look the
He's got
1-2.
a chin though, and he's like gritty.
Yeah.
And he can punch. He can box.
I get a lot of Wei Lee vibes from him.
Sure.
For sure. Like
Sure.
speedy 1-2s. Like a lot of China, like a lot of Asian countries, Korea,
Racist.
China.
It's
No.
racist. I can already hear this is racist.
Why is it because he brought up China?
Yeah.
So what?
So what? Yeah, so what?
What are these China, man?
It didn't even sound
You
like
know the problem is when you bring up China too in today's day and age,
Yeah.
you have to be very careful because of all the strife that's
Asian
going
hate.
on,
Asian
right?
hate.
Asian hate. No, and it's a serious issue. It is a serious issue. But I was
No.
gonna say,
I'm not gonna lie. It did make me a little nervous the way you put the way you put it. You said a lot of the Chinese.
A lot of these China, man.
yeah.
But no, I couldn't.
a lot of these Chineses people.
Yeah, no.
No, okay. What I was gonna say is they're very good at the 1-2, right? Because I don't know. Maybe it's the Wing Chun influence. Maybe I don't know because as you know, guys know, we're like a lot Wing Chun's central principle is control the center line. So maybe they really focus on getting that 1-2 quick and popping out there to beat people to that punch. But a lot of the Asian fighters you see, there was a Korean kid, the other, who did he fight? I can't remember, but he threw this really nice slip into the 1-2 and knocked this guy clean. I can't remember. But if Song Yadong, Wei Lee, they're all really good at throwing 1-2s in tight.
Yeah.
Really good. And so, like, I don't know if that's like an Asian principle of
Because I'm
MMA.
thinking
I don't know. No, go ahead.
I hate talking about my boxing or sparring, but yeah, even when I was learning karate as a kid, like that's how they teach you to punch is straight punches.
Yeah, just-
Like, that's the first thing. Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So it makes sense.
Yeah, like I maybe that's just a principle that's carrying over. Like you don't see it with the Japanese fighters, and that's because they're
That's
not
weird.
really. No, yeah, you don't see it because they're like kind of focused on, like, you know, kind of Japan style karate, which is a lot more like moving, kind of getting them to move this way and throwing, you know, I can't remember what.
I don't know. I feel like straights are still like pretty essential.
It's pretty essential in karate, but it's like it's more so moving guys out and throwing the kick off of them. But
If you look at like a ring, we are getting way off
so
topic.
we are so in the weeds. All right.
Okay.
Song
Fizzy,
Yadong did
let's
that.
talk about the fight that we really want to talk
Yeah,
about.
Fizzy
Fizzy
and
versus.
Green.
This might have been fight of the night. If it wasn't for. No, this was fight of the night.
I think it was fighting night.
Yeah.
I think it was fighting night.
Because Bobby Green showed out, man.
You know, I thought he was gonna get hurt. I remember.
I thought he was gonna get hurt, but man, like he actually super impressed me. He might have one of the best defensive stand-up defense that I've ever seen in UFC. Like that was maybe one of the best defensive performances.
if
I've
he
ever
could,
seen.
yeah, if he could just throw a punch though.
I know,
Right? Like,
I know.
If he-
I kept thinking that.
if he could just
Like, why are your hands so low and you're not doing nothing?
see, you know, one of the greatest revelations to me actually becoming like a semi-decent fighter in the amateur scene was Corey telling me, hey, at the very least have your arms ready to go by having it in an L position. and not down all the way to your...
he has it like
straight
Daniel style.
Like
literally straight
and
down.
he's not a good kicker.
No.
So it's like, so my whole thing with Green is like, okay, can you at least have your arms ready to punch? Like at least like this, like, ready to punch. Because the problem
weird, though, like he did get into some kind of counter exchanges in this fight. Where he would like bait you, for example, with like a teep or like with a jab, and then you would and Fiziev would return, and then he would slip, jab or straight, and then like cut off the angle. I just feel like, I don't know. His boxing is good. Like
he's a good boxer. Like that's the thing. He made a great account of himself. I hate to say it, like if you could only, but he just felt like he was too he was too late off of his opportunity. Right?
Yeah, I feel that. I felt like it was a razor close fight. Personally, I thought maybe I could see you giving the first round. I don't know. I have to go back.
Okay, do you think Green won or Fiziev won?
I thought Fiziev won.
Okay, and
but
that's
I
what
could
happened.
see an argument where Green won. I thought he won round 3 quite comfortably because
I think
Fiziev was really tired by the end, and I think
punching air.
Yeah, punching air, exactly, and chasing this dude like literally around the cage. At one point, like Buddy literally like ran away from him, like turned his back, like the thing and literally sprinted away from Fiziev, who's chased after him, which was pretty crazy to watch. But I think you could give Green at least round 3. 1 and 2 were a little bit, maybe 1 for Fiziev, 2 was kind of the like toss up. I don't know. I'd have to go back and rewatch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have the stats on hand. I can get them if you like.
Get them.
All right, cool. And this time we can actually show the people because we're in studio. But yeah, like it's interesting, man. I think the whole thing with this fight, and Green and Fiziev was that Bobby Green is just hard to hit, and he's always been hard to hit. It's just for as good as he is on defense, he is almost as equally as bad the opposite way on offense.
No, I didn't think he was bad offensively. Personally, I just felt like he's not as diverse in terms of skill set as Fiziev. So, he doesn't have the same power. Definitely not. Mm-hmm. I thought it was actually pretty quick. Like he got Fiziev a lot with like some of those jabs and straights. Like I thought like he actually did a pretty good job with the boxing. His kicks non-existent pretty much, and that definitely affected his performance. Not the most active fighter either. What I really appreciate though, like he's doing, like he's in your face with his hands down, almost like baiting you to like run into him. And I thought Fiziev did some pretty decent stuff in terms of like his head movement was pretty good. His body kicks was the right thing to do because, as they said a million times in the commentary, Bobby Green does that like not just the Philly shell, but also like the head movement where he's like rotating his trunk so much that you literally can't, like, you don't know which way he's gonna go. And sometimes he's literally like turning like that, like turning behind himself, like just so that you can't hit him in the head, which is pretty crazy. Yeah.
I have the stats and they're pretty shocking, by the way. I did not.
Bobby Green outstruck Fiziev.
That's the thing, right?
Like, it was that third round that like he caught up. In the first 2 rounds, Fiziev was doing more work because he was throwing more body kicks than Bobby Green. But in terms of, as I said, I thought around. Some people I saw on Twitter, some people saying 10-8 for round 3. That's a bit much.
Yeah, that's much.
That's a bit much.
Relax. Like,
but but I thought it was a pretty convincing round 3. And Fiziev looked good for the first couple of rounds.
Wow. Yeah, so let's pull up the stats for the people here. Okay. I'll pull it up. First round here, so for those who don't see, I'm just going to show it here. Bobby Green, so for a total, Bobby Green landed 143 significant strikes out of 263. Total strikes was, according to UFCstats.com, by the way, total strikes was 143 of 63 to 104 to 223 for Rafael Fiziev. 0 for 2 on takedowns by Bobby Green. Now, per round, this is where it gets interesting. First round, who do you think won the striking battle, boys? Like, in terms of numbers, total numbers.
Bobby Green.
Bobby Green. That's correct. Bobby Green had 32 of 48 significant strikes. 15 of those were to the head. Let me get the totals just so everybody. So, yeah, 32 of 48 for round one. 25 of 62 for Fiziev in round one.
That's just a testament to Bobby Green's defense.
Yeah.
Because Fiziev is not just throwing garbage out there. He's throwing to hurt you. So
Exactly. 40%, by the way, Rafael Fiziev landed at, whereas Bobby Green landed at a 66% clip.
I mean, looking at those statistics, I know a statistic doesn't really tell the story of the fight, but yeah, you can see why people were a little bit mad about the
decision.
result. Yeah.
I mean, also because, like, xenophobia, but whatever.
Why xenophobia?
Because, how many USA chances did you hear in that fight? Come on, be honest.
0.
Okay.
Well, I might have been watching it with the volume down, though.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm thinking of the Derrick Lewis fight.
Definitely the Derrick Lewis fight.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's on me. That's on me. No, that's on me. Okay.
I thought people were pretty hyped to see Fiziev. But for me, I thought Bobby Green, with all due respect, kind of showed some of the holes in Fiziev's game. I think if you're not willing to go tit for tat with him, like, you have a very good chance. If you can keep your distance, you've got a very good chance because it doesn't have.
But he did show that, like, Rafael Fiziev can defend a takedown, unfortunately.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's not just, there is no secret backdoor way to beat him besides maintaining your distance. Which
you can definitely still take him down. I mean, Bobby Green's good, but he's not like,
not the greatest wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
fair enough.
Like, I don't know. Bobby Green's definitely would be defined as more of a stand-up fighter.
For sure. But he can wrestle. Wow.
He can wrestle.
All right. But yeah, round two. Bobby Green, 45 of 94 strikes, 0 for 1 on the takedown, 47% clip. Rafael Fiziev, 36 of 82.
What?
36 of 82. That's correct.
That's crazy.
Correct. For 43% clip.
That's nuts.
Which means Bobby Green won round two in the striking exchanges as well.
I did not see that.
And then round three, obviously, we talked about it was pretty much a wash. 66 of 121 to Rafael Fiziev's 43 of 79. So when you take a look at the stats, at least statistically, right, and significant strikes is a different story altogether, but most of the punches that those two landed were significant strikes, or at least you'd classify them as significant strikes, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is, according to the stats here, Bobby Green should have won that fight.
For sure. I can see it. I feel like Fiziev was definitely hitting with way more damage. Mm-hmm. The body kicks were good. They were getting him. The leg kicks were good.
Yeah. I mean, whose stuff sounded worse?
Definitely Fiziev.
So, like, I think that's the thing, right? And so I was shocked to see those stats. Like, I just pulled them up and saw them.
But, like, when it came to the boxing exchanges, I have to say Bobby Green had the better
of course.
Fiziev. Which is saying something, because...
But Bobby Green, see, this is the thing. It's never been an issue of boxing, right? It's never even been an issue of defense. It's just, like, capitalizing off of guys' big misses, right? To an extent, until this card, I thought Manel Cape had the same problem, and then turns out, he's still got the juice like that.
Hilarious. Manel Cape is hilarious doing the Ronaldo celebration. Ooh, I see you. Man.
But
How is his name Starboy? Anyway, sorry, go on. How many Starboys are we gonna get?
After the weekend,
after the weekend, Starboy, like
all of them.
Everybody's a Starboy.
Everyone's a Starboy now.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, boys, any other fights you want to talk about?
Alonzo Mendenfield versus Ed Herman. I like this fight a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah, I thought Mendenfield looked very good. Like, probably one of the best performances he's had in the UFC. I thought Herman, with all due respect, did not look good. We'll just put it lightly.
He's been fighting for a long time.
Since 2006, which is crazy. I don't even remember 2006, so that should show you.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good. Yeah, Mendenfield, one of the most brutal leg kicks exhibition I've seen in a long time. Buddy's shin was literally like swollen by the second round. And Mendenfield looked good, as I said. Like, he can tell, like, that guy can crack. Did a good job conserving his energy for the 3 rounds. Once it went to the ground where you think Herman would have the advantage, I think Menfield was smart to keep it safe. And all around a pretty good performance. Not sure where Ed Herman goes from here. Not sure where Alonzo Menfield goes from here, other than fighting other top competition. But yeah, I thought it was a good performance from him. Another fight that I did watch was Jessica Penne versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I really thought Karolina was going to win this fight.
Is it because you think Jessica Penne's not very good?
No, I just thought
Because I do.
Hilarious. I thought Dub K looked good, and she was, she was really emotional coming into the fight. But then Jessica Penne hits the ground, or slips or something. Double K jumps in, and it's all she wrote.
Yeah.
From there.
I mean, Jessica Penne is interesting because she's a very much throwback women's MMA fighter on the ground, and here's the thing about when someone has old tricks and the game has moved past, some of those old tricks are not things that you defend very much because, you don't defend them thinking that they're kind of yesteryear tricks, and then they creep up on you. And the armbar was very much a interesting, it was fundamental for sure.
Super fundamental.
But that's the thing, it was super fundamental. You think someone would know how to defend that, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure... I'm not a jiu-jitsu ace, but I'm pretty sure I've learned how to defend that in, white belt class.
Yeah.
No disrespect to WK, but good job for Jessica Penne for getting it off. But, it was, if I'm not mistaken, your stereotypical...
armbar.
Yeah, armbar, yeah.
Yeah. It's just that, because you know how to defend it, you never really practice to defend it.
I mean, literally...
Once you get good, yeah.
They're they literally say... You're probably not going to get anybody with this. Realistically, when people see you, putting your arm like that, they know what you're going to do. So you're going to have to be more clever. So I can see it.
I mean, and Jessica Penne, one of the things I will admit, as much as, I think she's not very good, is that she is very strong. So, when you have an arm like that, you're in that position and you're, basically pulling... Mm-hmm. If you're facing someone with a massive strength at disadvantage and you pull at the right area she was pulling around wrist level, whereas a lot of people like to pull here, which is, not what you should be doing. Pull it around the wrist, and she was pulling upwards. You know what I'm saying? It got Karolina to kind of let go of the arm, and then all of a sudden that's all she wrote. So
yeah. I was wondering because for a while this is not jiu-jitsu class, but for a while she kind of was blocking the armbar,
and then all of a sudden she pulls upwards, and it's done. So Karolina, that's another loss.
But she hasn't fought in a year though, so
I know, but
it's 18 months or something like that.
Karolina, all I'm saying is Karolina's in trouble.
No, for sure. But then again, with all due respect, a lot of women in the UFC are in trouble when it comes to if you have 3 losses, you're very realistically going to be cut.
Yeah,
because Dana White did not play out. Shout out to Megan Anderson, man.
He's not playing around anymore. I mean, I think part of it is that she was for a while a very important figure in Polish MMA.
Yeah.
Right. It also doesn't help that. It also does help that Loki. I hate to say it like this, but if you're halfway decent looking, it does save you in the women's division, right? Which is unfortunate. I know.
You called it right away because I was going to say it saves you in any industry.
That's true.
Male
or female.
See Sage Northcutt, right?
Yeah,
so. Totally. So I don't think it's going to be I think she would need to go on a massive losing streak.
I don't think Ryan Garcia has some million followers because he's a great boxer.
Yeah, he's.
you guys know I'm a hater.
No, he's a handsome dude. He's a handsome dude. But my whole point is that you're gonna be okay in the women's division if you have a name like Karolina does, former title challenger. And you're halfway decent looking. So, I think she's not in that. I think she's going to be okay, but she loses one more, and the seat's going to get a little hot.
Who's lost before this?
Let me look this up. I got you. Tapology page. I got the Googles. Don't worry. Tapology page or Wikipedia.
Whichever one's gonna give the right answer.
Yeah. Dude, oh my God. Never mind. She is in trouble. She's in a lot of trouble. She's lost, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight.
Ooh.
Eee. I have a stat here. Okay, so let's pull this up here for everybody. So she lost to Jessica Andrade after beating Felice Herring. No shame.
No shame in that.
Then loses to Michelle Watterson, which is, probably Michelle Watterson's biggest win in her life up at that point. Then Alexa Grasso, which, again, no shame in that one because Alexa Grasso can box. Yan Xiaonan, which, no shame in that one because Yan Xiaonan is a good fighter. And Jessica Penne now, which giving her a record of 12-7, losing 5 straight.
Ooh, no, that's a wrap.
Yeah,
Sorry,
she's
Double K.
never mind. Never
Sorry, Double
mind.
K.
Yeah, never mind. But yeah.
What was this other fight? And we already kind of talked about the Manal Cape one. I can't seem to find like a good. I didn't watch it, but I can't seem to find like a good replay of the knockout. Yeah. People said there's some controversy around the whether it was an early stoppage. Actually, I did see
early stoppage. He hit with a flying knee. Who
He hit
cares?
a flying knee and was landing ground and pound punches.
Yeah,
like, how do you think this is gonna go?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Early stoppage.
No, seriously, it was a real thing. It was a real thing on Twitter. No, for real. Anyway.
Man, all right, boys. I'm starting to kind of phase out a little bit.
Okay.
Do we have any story times?
No.
Any ask questions?
I got nothing. Oh, wait, you did an ask question segment
last week. Yeah, on my fight. Do you guys have any questions about the fight? Oh wait.
Oh yeah. What's the question? I don't have any questions. I have feedback.
All right, what's the feedback?
I thought you did good, man. I thought that was way better than your fight in Iowa. Not even close. Maybe it was the guy you were fighting who, with all due respect, was tough, but I felt like you had
not a power puncher,
no, and it felt like you had a tactical advantage over him, pretty clearly, when it came to stand up.
Okay, so a couple factors. One, same day weigh-ins really fuck you up. And Muay Thai does same day weigh-ins, at least in this country. Two, not the power puncher Mike Jean-Louis is, and not the intimidating figure. We'll talk off air as to why I think Mike Jean-Louis is super intimidating. But yeah, a nigga was scared. I hate to admit it. A nigga was scared. Three, I wanted to use my movement against this particular fight because he's a judo practitioner of 10 years. And the info we got was he was pretty good on the ground. And as much as I'm good on the ground too, I know where my bread is buttered. All right, there's a bronze medal at the home, right there. It's chilling. All right, so now there's a Muay Thai bronze medal, at home. So I know where the bread's buttered, and therefore that's why I tended to be a lot more better with my movement. It should be said, yeah, it was mostly the same day weigh-ins, though, I would say, because
I thought you looked good, man. Yeah. I thought the first and second round were pretty clearly yours. If I'm going to be honest, I thought you lost that third round.
Yeah. It was a little hair carry, I'm not going to lie. Man, I thought
leg kicks were money. And you should definitely, in my humble opinion, as somebody who knows nothing about sport, definitely take a note from, Alonzo Menfield and all these dudes, throwing blasting leg kicks. I understand it probably sucks when you get checked, but he did not have a single answer
that
for
makes
any of your kicks.
3 fights in a row where guys are not checking leg kicks for me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you don't see them coming. Because you're throwing them from weird angles. You got weird timing. They were really good. It was really, really good. It looked, dare I say, high level.
God bless your heart. God bless your heart. All right, David.
Game. It's good, but it's not as good as your kicking game. If I may say that. And
what's my base again? Taekwondo, yeah.
Sure. And I felt like when you got it, you still went into brawl mode a little bit in third round. And you just love to brawl a little bit too much for such a technician. You were brawling way too much. But hey, you still beat the guy, so I mean, not really criticizing. It's more just
hey, no, I like the feedback, man. You can't have cheerleaders in this
hilarious.
Game.
No, you killed it. Killed it. Those leg kicks were money, every single time.
Yeah.
Every single one was money. I feel like eventually you're gonna be dropping guys with leg kicks. If you time, well, We can talk about this off air, but this is
No,
not
I mean,
podcast
it's 2
talk.
places in a row where it's like the leg kicks were money, right? At the end of the day. So, hey, why not, right? Yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Jeremy, we didn't get to your boxing news, but
No, it was absolutely. It's been
dead.
so dead.
With Olympics, that's why.
Yeah. Olympics have been good. There is this one cat out of Cuba who won the gold medal at welterweight.
Okay, I can't remember
heavyweight. I think his name is.
heavyweight. Yeah, that name. Oh, sorry.
No, there's a
sick.
Cuban dude who was moving like crazy at heavyweight. Is that the same one?
Bald guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him too.
Bro, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, yo, who is this guy?
Man,
and he's got hands too.
Yeah, I hope he has a chin though, because if he goes to pro boxing and but
and Keyshawn Davis, I didn't even, I don't know, I'm bringing him up. I didn't even know how far he got, but he's had like 3 professional fights so far.
Oh,
so I think they still let him compete. So I was actually like,
they let pros do fights,
yeah.
right? It's just the WBC who's a little like
no, wait, it's not. I think I don't know. You have to have turned pro, and somebody can probably tell me if I'm wrong, after the Olympic qualifiers. If I'm not mistaken, like you can't be a pro boxer going to the Olympic qualifiers.
Oh, makes sense. So it's like he probably was a pro after the Olympic qualifier, got 3 fights, and then he went in there.
And this year is weird too because
because they delayed it, so maybe he fought for like 3 times in that year.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's been super dead. Next week you got some pretty good ones, like Virgil Ortiz is fighting someone. I don't know if I've heard anything that's changed, but it's still on ESPN.com that Casemiro's fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. So those are 2 pretty.
Wasn't it supposed to be
fights.
Donaire, and then Donaire pulled out because Casemiro was talking shit about his wife?
Right. So I don't know what the situation is with that. But.
Dude,
Yeah,
imagine that's what you pulled out for, because you were talking about my wife. If anything, I want to beat your ass more because
we just talked about it earlier. You crossed the line like this ain't.
There's more to it though.
Yeah.
There's more to it. She's like his manager, kind of.
Oh.
And also there was like some drug. Like he wanted to get tested, but the company who was doing the testing, the Rigondeaux camp didn't approve of the testing agency that Casemiro was using. And so there's more to it. But,
why is it? Because it's a Filipino drug testing? Racist.
The only ones that MMA fans will probably care about is the what's it called, the Spence Pacquiao fight at the end of the month. So
cool.
That's probably.
I'll be down for that. I would definitely watch that one.
Well, boys, we're in town. Why don't we watch it together?
Yeah,
man?
Why not? Last words. Shouts out to Andrew DeGrasse. Shouts out to Damian Warner. The juice. Shouts out to the Jamaican women's sprint team. Are you kidding me? Yo, man. You want to see dominance? Anyway, I know this is an MMA podcast, but...
No, but you know what? If I could have a word, that's Safan Hassan 1,500 meter heat that she had where she fell and then got... I was like, dude, that got me so hyped. I watched her just run outside after. Like,
crazy.
Man.
Crazy. No, she murked it this year.
Yeah. I think she win. Goals? Yeah, I think she went through all 3 and beat like the best in the world at 1,500. And won the 5K.
We need to turn this cameras off for me to have an honest conversation about like some of these performances, man. Because this is Norwegian guy, Karsten Warholm in the 400 meter hurdles. Hey yo.
Hey, he's
you watch that one?
Hey man, I'll leave it like this. I've never seen a white guy jump a hurdle like that.
I've never seen anybody rip their vinyl shirts. Like this guy ripped his shirt like he was Hercules or something. Anyway, shouts out to him though. Beat the world record. Shouts out to him.
All right, hey man, you know, like.
I don't want to hear anybody talk about the UFC and like steroid chicks ever again. Like, no more.
Well, in this crazy mixed up world. where homeboy. I've never seen a blonde guy run hurdles like that, man. That was
I
crazy.
Believe it because he beat the world record like a month ago. Yeah. So like anyway, but
in this crazy mixed up world where we've never seen a guy run the hurdles like that. Just remember, you got 3 things: you got life, you got family, and in-person podcast.
Yay!